Have you ever met the connector? Well, he ponders, he helps, he creates, he writes, he speaks. He basically connects people and brings them together. I speak about Paul Solano of PS and All Marketing Group. At psandallmarketinggroup.com, you will receive an assembled group of Paul's contacts and connections that cross into many sectors of life. Please contact Paul Solano at 617-240-4130 or psandallmarketinggroup@gmail.com if you are in the market for a wide array of services. Again, please contact The Connector, Paul Solano at 617-240-4130 or psandallmarketinggroup@gmail.com with any questions. And now, here's Paul Solano, the host of Paul Ponders.
Welcome to Paul Ponders. I've really enjoyed bringing you fun, informative, intriguing, and pondering podcasts. Many thanks to #PodPro Entertainment. Today's collaborating sponsor, Scott Albertson of #Project142.org, Riverworks Credit Union, NMLS number 410564, and Remax Renaissance Realty of Reading. Thanks for listening, rating, reviewing, and subscribing. Let Paul Ponders begin. Greetings, everyone. How's everyone doing today? I want to thank you for tuning into Paul Ponders. And would you believe this is episode number 50? And I want to thank all of our subscribers, our listeners, for really just believing in us and rating, reviewing, and subscribing to Paul Ponders. And the beginning part of my podcast career started with a very inspirational person. I call him a true friend. And he's our guest on episode number 50. And I want to welcome Mr. Jonathan Caruso, Mr. Jon Caruso of Jonathan Caruso Photography. John, welcome.
Thank you, Paul. Thank you very much for having me on your podcast tonight. I appreciate the invite.
And really, just great to have you here.
Thank you. Thank you. It's great to be here.
Awesome. Well, I want to thank you. And John, in full disclosure to everyone, we work together at Pearl Street Station Restaurant, where you have a very important role as a manager, server manager, and just making things happen. And you have part of your many talents, if you will, is basically in the world of photography and videography. And I've always been amazed at what you've been able to do. And way back when I first started this Paul Ponders and all, I got a lot of inspiration and a lot of ideas from you. And if you just want to tell our listeners what it's like to have your own photography and videography business. So take it away, Jonathan Caruso.
Yeah, certainly. So I started this business about 6 years ago now. I've been a professional for about 6 years, but this is a long time coming for me. I had a camera in my hands since I was 11 years old. So just seeing a scene unfold in front of me has been a lifelong story for me. I would really consider myself a storyteller more so than a photographer, more so than a videographer. But it is an absolute pleasure when I get people in front of my camera. People really open up to me. People are very comfortable working with me. And I realize that is the key for me personally to do photography and videography, is that people really just open up. They become very natural. And that's, in my opinion, that's the greatest part about doing what I do. It's also being, in these very exciting fields. I work with a lot of brands. I work with quite a few brands, and just watching people grow, I think that internally that's a passion of mine, is to help people grow, whether it's professionally, personally, or, to help build a network for them. I think that all those things go hand in hand, but in all reality, that's why I do what I do. Being a photographer is secondary. Really, it's helping people build themselves from the ground up. I think that I do have a lot of knowledge when it comes to that. So that's what I put into my work.
That's great. And one of the things, and just to really parlay and just to come up with a segue into branding and all, I believe that one of your most successful brands has really been the Uplift Provisions brand, who you
Correct.
work with. So maybe if you want to tell our listeners about what it's like to be in charge of Uplift Provisions marketing and video.
So Uplift is a company. It's a hair product company, right? But it goes way beyond that, in my opinion. When I first met the owner of Uplift Provisions Company, his name is Rocco Danielli. And Rocco, when I first met Rocco, we were actually going through some network marketing company, and it was like a pyramid scheme. And we were doing meetings together, and that's when we're really young, right? We were just really ambitious, trying to figure everything out. We didn't even know what we were doing at the time. But I felt, when I met Rocco, the energy that I got from Rocco was very positive, right? And whether that was what was happening in his life or not at the time, um, I always felt the same vibe from Rocco. But Rocco has turned his positive energy. He is a recovering addict, but he has actually turned that energy, being, I think, 8 years sober now. He has turned that energy and put it into a brand. And Uplift is exactly how it sounds, right? It is there to uplift the people that encounter the brand, the people that use it. The actual product itself, right, is meant to invigorate, right, and what is the word I'm looking for here? It's made with peppermint. So the actual product itself is made to energize you, right? But even more so than that, right, what the brand actually stands for is why I got involved. The brand stands for helping give back to people that actually need it and to help uplift communities, right, where that feel left behind. And every product that you buy from Uplift, it actually gives back to a nonprofit called the Family Restored, and they actually help people that are recovering addicts trying to get sober. And I think that that is the most important mission right now, especially in America, is that we need more people to be pushing that kind of narrative. Uh, to help others that are addicts. We have so many. It's really I can't even. I'm choking up right now because it's one of those topics that a lot of people, we all know an addict, or we all have some addicts in our family that are suffering from this disease. And it's a shame because we try to get a message across, but it's very hard to do that on your own. You need a community to in order to help shape that. So I got involved with Uplift because I have a personal issue, with the recovering community. Not an issue, but um, my heart is touched by that community. I've met so many people so far that are recovering, and they have changed my life completely. They have made me see a different perspective. Not only that, but my father, who recently passed away, he was also an alcoholic for many, many years. And just to have the connection with him and to see the positive things that he's done with his recovery, made me want to be very much so in part of this brand. So that's why I am with Uplift. And me and Rocco, we now actually we educate. I help Uplift. We educate salons and barbershops on styling and cutting techniques, on also how to use the product, but also how to do photography. Um, right now in the marketplace, what you really need to be doing consistently, and I know you're very good at this, Paul, because you're on your 50th episode right now, and I can take a lot of you can you take a lot from that. alone, but you need to be consistent in this marketplace, with your content, with your visuals. You need to represent yourself as a professional. And that's pretty much where I come in and I teach people how to do it from A to Z. I don't mind giving away the farm to people. I learned it on my own. And, people just need help sometimes really getting to the next level. And I'm here to bring that to them as well.
In such an uplifting way, and it really is, excuse the pun, but pun intended, but in that uplifting way, you are in fact able to in fact convey that message and all. And first of all, kudos to Rocco and his team for really developing such a wonderful fundraising, such a wonderful effort, if you will, to really inspire people. And hopefully we'll hear more from Rocco. Maybe we'll have him on as a future guest down the road, and maybe in a more active role with hashtag Paul Ponders. But that's something that we'll see what happens down the road on that. But looking at your ability to take that brand, to shoot the video, to take the pictures, and incorporate like maybe music. Are you combing the internet, looking at different musical selections? What are you doing to tie all that into play?
Well, I'll be very honest with you, and I'll give you a little, you know, I'll go very deep on this podcast for you, Paul. So
Please.
music is my muse. I love music. I am not a musician by any means, but music is my therapy. And I have, in my worst times in my life, music has been the one thing that got me out of it, right? Has helped me through it. So understanding music and the beats and the melody of music, right? It really helped me transform my creativity into the world of videography. Because when it comes to like editing, I would say I'm a really good editor. But editing, right? It all has to do with the melody, right? The cadence and the cutting to a beat, right? And I know how to get that pinpoint, right, almost every time, um to the beat. And you'll feel the music, right? It'll be emotional to you, right? But when you're looking at the visuals, I think Alex O'Donnell, he said it himself. And not to bring up Alex, but Alex, he is I believe a teacher, a media teacher, right, at
Yes.
Everett High.
Yes.
So Alex O'Donnell, he said it best. He said video is 80% um 80% mute audio, right? 20% visual, right? So the real passion of mine is with audio. I love music, and music helps me translate the images that I put onto the screen or what I'm capturing. It helps me, right, create a scene in my mind, and that's where the edit becomes so spectacular in my mind, just because of the audio itself. So like, even if someone is speaking, right, I know the deep emotional factors, right, that it's gonna portray on screen, that people want to hear. And if speaking, I will cut out everything that doesn't make any sense, or not that doesn't make any sense, but it's not going to resonate on screen. I will cut all those things out, and you'll be left with something very emotional, right? Something that resonates with the audience most of the time.
That is the core, it's the essence of what needs to be done. And just for our listeners, Alex O'Donnell is just an incredible animator, and he just does some wonderful, wonderful things in the Everett Public School system. Is very fortunate to have him as a media teacher, and maybe he's a future hashtag Paul Ponders guest. You never know.
Never know.
Part of the networking of PS and All Marketing Group. Selfless plug there.
Yes.
But anyways, regarding what you need to do, and I've seen so many of your videos, both at Pearl Street Station Restaurant with Uplift and other brands that you represent. It is cutting edge stuff. So it isn't like you're going to say hunt photo and video. You're getting a camera and you're going to say, okay, I'm going to shoot a wedding or I'm going to shoot a brand. You are really putting a lot of thought and creativity into it, and your passion really comes through.
the business, honestly, the way that I think about it, I don't think about it as a business. I think about it as an extension of myself. Really, I think of it as an extension of myself. And if someone gets a poor experience working with me, that means that I didn't give myself to them. And I know that every time that it's only happened very minimally. It's happened very minimally in my career, right? Because every time that I do work with somebody, I it's almost like I get anxiety, right? If it's not the way that it should be. If they are not getting the most out of it, I am not going to put it out there. If it wasn't vibing, like there's something not vibing when I'm on set with somebody, then we change it up right then and there. And I feel that. And it happens like when that does happen, I have a quick little conversation with the person that I am focused on. And that quickly changes. I want everything on set to be very natural. And I think that it's more conveyed properly when it's natural, as opposed to posed. You see a lot of, photographers like, oh, give me a hand over here and do this and do that and give me one of these, right? I don't do that. I actually think that naturally, right, a person is going to pose himself correctly um, throughout the course of a photo session, right? For instance, or if I'm doing a brand video, I'm going to write down a script, and if they don't like that script, we're gonna change it to a way that's more natural for the brand, right? But also more natural for the person that's in it as well. I do not believe in the script 100%.
Absolutely. That is so key. And when I think back to one of your videos, I believe it was Ariel, if you want to maybe touch
You're
upon
in that.
that on. Yes, I am actually, I'm one of the judges, and I gave that, I had to look so mean. I look like Simon, and I
Are
look
you
so
wonderful? You're
disinterested.
wonderful.
Oh, thank you, thank you. My cameo appearance in that wonderful video. But if you want to, tell our listeners about your experience in creating that video for Ariel.
Yep. So Ariel, she was my first music video that I ever did, and she's actually an 11-year-old girl. Her mother came from LA, and she's really passionate about boosting her daughter's career. She wanted to, make sure her daughter, because she's so very talented, especially at that age, she was so very talented and she's getting better and better, as the years go on. The girl's about to be 15 years old now. It's been 4 years already since we did that video, Paul.
Wow.
Um, she, uh, she was so very passionate about making her daughter, stand out in the marketplace. And my creativity, sometimes I can't hold it. I need to really just do something. And she came to me with that video and she said, like, can we do, this is the song. Can we create some kind of, storyboard, and can you do a music video for my daughter? I was like, absolutely. So at the time, the budget wasn't really there. We didn't have much to work with. So I did a run and gun resource based budget. And we just worked with what we had. And, in my opinion, it was all about creativity. It was all about, working with our network and really just making it happen. Like you say all the time, Paul, just make it happen, right?
Absolutely.
That's kinda how it worked out, and it was actually, in my opinion, I think it came out very awesome. It got a lot of hits immediately when we first sent it out, but it was a fun first project to work on, to really just, dive into these scenes that I've never done before, and that's what I was looking for the whole time anyway, and sometimes it just takes those little projects really and just to see what you can do. Um, Pulling your network together and working it out, resourcing, right? See how resourceful you actually are, right? Um, but yeah, no, it was a great experience, and you did a tremendous job too. I think there was what, three judges that were judging her singing. It was another girl that was up there, but in the music video, it made it look like it was an actual girl being judged for how she sang. And she wasn't good enough. And towards the end of the video, it ended up becoming that she was an actual worldwide phenomenon, and people were cheering for her. And all it took was just to love yourself.
And I was totally amazed when I finally saw the video after you released it that, this young girl was actually in front of, a coliseum of people with like 20,000 people, in the spotlight, in the starlight. And the way that you incorporated that into the scene, where she was there and she was on stage and she had hit big time all because of her dreams. It was just absolutely fascinating the way that you told that story with your storyboard. So kudos to you.
Thank you. I mean, it's funny because it looked like there was a lot of people there, but there was actually like 10.
Right.
That's the key of what are they of Hollywood, right? If you may. Um it's making making magic out of something that you have, right? Which otherwise, you know, there might be thousands of people in the crowd, but not necessarily. You don't need to have 1,000 people. You can make it look like that just from an angle. And that's kind of how I did it. I tried to black out the whole room, make it look like all these people were in the front row waiting for this glamorous person, right? This very talented person, celebrity almost, right, to come up on stage and work their magic. And it on camera, it actually translated like that. So I was pretty impressed with that.
Now, John, that's absolutely amazing as to how you were able to, in fact, just make it all happen and bring everything together in the way that you really made it seem. Just absolutely incredible how Ariel was on the stage. And congratulations on doing a great job on
Thank
that.
you. Thank you. Onward and upward, as you say,
Onward and
Paul.
upward, the only way to go. So as we start to wind down in the last 5 minutes of this, and I know with all the great things you've done with the photography, the videography, and all, we've talked about social media, we've talked about trending, and about being out there and being an influencer and all. How are you taking your talents to make it to the next level, to become one of those influencers and one of those stars, those TikTok sensations or whatever?
What I'll say to you is that I haven't spent much time trying to become an influencer. I've spent more time trying to make people an influencer, right? I've worked with many influencers so far. A lot of my work you'll see in their pages, especially in their early stages of their progression. Um, I've never really had that connection, right, with being an influencer. But what I'll tell you right now is that it is an absolute necessity, um, for business, right, for personal growth, not to be an influencer, but like to try and push yourself out there like that, the way that they do it. And what I'll say is consistency is key. If you don't have consistency, you have nothing. But another thing too, and this is something that we can touch upon, it's a very hot topic right now, and I'm sure you know about it, is artificial intelligence, right? Um, that someone brought that to my attention because that affects my business 100%. Uh, to the fact that you can create, a portrait of yourself, right, in 75,000 different ways, just by taking a photo on your phone. Um, you know, or just taking a 30-second video, and you're able to take your image and your sound and replicate that into 128 different languages, right? For paying a short piece of money to do it. I had to learn, and the motto that I am now going with going forward in almost 2025, right? The motto that I'm going to be going with is adapt or die, because that is literally what it's about now. I don't believe in, oh, this is going to put me out of business. But what I do believe in is to make it work for whatever you're doing, right? To make it work with you, right? Or to make it work for you. I don't believe that it's going to work against you. In order for AI to work properly, it needs a brilliant mind in order to input the tasks at hand. And you could be that person too. So, someone brought it to my attention. They said, doesn't this scare you? Because it's going to put you out of business. And I say, no, it's not. Because guess what? This thing is incredible at writing, right? It can help me create scripts at the speed of lightning, right? Which means that I can take on 7 to 10 more clients, right? And build a script for them in a matter of 2 days. That's only one little scenario, but to help build that consistency on Instagram, TikTok, or Facebook, where you want to get videos out every day, but how much time do you actually have to be making these videos? Uh, I learned that I have all the camera equipment in the world, and it still takes me, 5 hours to make one small video. But these people that are making it, and they're very successful, what they're doing is they're using AI, right? They're adapting to AI. They're cloning their voice, right? They're coming up with these brilliant scripts, and they're, pretty much plugging away on social media. So in between the large videos, the passion projects that you're doing, your actual voice that's getting out there, in between that, right, you have several different videos that is getting out to your audience with your voice on it. And that is something that's going to help you. If you see Jake Paul, I don't know if you saw the Mike Tyson fight recently, right? But
I did,
Jake
yes.
Paul is a very brilliant person. He was one of the first influencers on YouTube. I saw what was happening already before it was happening. I already knew he was the most influential person on YouTube, especially when YouTube first started to go, way back in the day. He was consistent. He was very consistent. He grinded all the way out until right now. But look where his career has landed him with the consistency. But Jake Paul and the Mike Tyson fight, um, shows you everything that you need to know about adapt to die. Okay. The world of boxing was dying out. Okay. And what Jake Paul did was he became the Vince McMahon, right, of the boxing world. Just like wrestling back then, right? Vince McMahon and his father, right, they saw an opportunity to bring entertainment to the wrestling world. I believe that Jake Paul just did that, right? By using the most influential person in boxing, which was Mike Tyson. Even though he's 58 years old, okay, everyone's sitting there criticizing Jake Paul for fighting Mike Tyson. But if you watch the fight, you can tell that he actually held back. You can tell that they were just up to making a lot of money. That's really what it came down to. They both planned that out to make a lot of money, and to bring the boxing world right into the streaming era. Okay, even though Netflix needs to get their stuff together now, because I don't think they've had that many people watching it once. Uh, if you saw the lag, but that is what it's all about. It's about adapting and dying, right? Adapt to die. That's why I won't let AI really dictate where I'm going to go, because a lot of people have a lot of fear right now, Paul. They have a lot of fear that this is going to take their jobs, right? It's going to put them out of work, and I just don't believe that. I really don't believe that. I think that we really need a human connection anyway, in order to do that. And AI will never be able to tell a story with the amount of emotion that a human being can actually do. I'll be very honest with you. I don't think so.
Wow. Well, you be frank and I'll be earnest, as they say. But, anyways, as the saying goes, there are two certain things in life. That's death and taxes. How about three certain things in life? Death, taxes, and AI is not going away. How does that sound?
It's not going away. Yep. As
Absolutely.
Elon Musk said, it's like letting a genie out of the bottle that you can't put back in.
It's a great analogy. Well, Jonathan Caruso, this has been an absolutely great episode. I want to thank you for being with us on this episode number 50. And as we embark on the next 50, we keep on moving forward, my friend.
Thank you for having me, Paul. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. And
Thank you.
just a shout out for our listeners. How do they contact you? If you want to give you a website and your email address, that would be awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. You can go to www.jcarusоphotography.com. And my email, if you want to contact me directly, if you want to get a quote for your brand or your business, it's Jon Caruso at jcarusоphotography.com.
And if you want to spell that out for our listeners, please.
JONCARUSO at JCARUSO photography PHOTOGRAPHY.com.
That's fabulous. Well, Jon Caruso, my friend, thanks for being on this episode number 50, and we'll see you soon.
See you soon. Indeed.
#Indeed. Yes.
Indeed.
I trust that you have enjoyed #Paul Ponders. Again, my name is Paul Solano of PS&All Marketing Group, and I may be reached via email at paul@paulponders.com to do some more pondering. Many thanks to my longtime collaborative friend and associate, Chalonzo Amos of Pod Pro Entertainment, in bringing you our fun, exciting, informative podcasts. You rock, Techie Chalonzo. With PS&All Marketing Group, I created a side gig to connect you and get things done. Please do not hesitate to reach out to me at paul@paulponders.com with any questions. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at Paul Ponders. Follow us on Twitter at Paul Ponders Pod. Follow us on Instagram at Paul Ponders Podcast. Thank you again for listening to #Paul Ponders, available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, our website, paulponders.com, or wherever you stream your podcasts. Subscribe, stream, rate, and review our shows. Your ratings and reviews help our show reach new audiences. Produced by Pod Pro Entertainment, #Paul Ponders lives within a network of podcasts located at podproentertainment.com. #the new radio. Until we meet again, my friend, stay well. #Indeed.